out here for Jeff as well. So you see that both of these players, 13th and 22nd on our Season 2 leaderboard, respectively, with two different decks. You're not going to find Pack Rats or Thoughtseizes here. I can kind of dig that, actually.
Yeah, Hoogland's deck, obviously something that benefited a lot from Mana Confluence. Allows him to play all his one-drops pretty consistently.
Busy Mortar's going to take down the Dryad Militant on Hoogland's side. Now, one thing about these two players, Jeff Hoogland has a stream. He streams sometimes on the Meadery, and Ketter was actually on that stream, both of them about 2 weeks ago. They were playing this Red-Black Devotion deck, kind of originated by Jerry T, as here's a Boros Reckoner in the face of that Fleecemane Lion, and they were playing it and kind of dabbling. So I wouldn't be surprised if they both collaborated on the list and both players know exactly what the other one is playing and things of that nature. As Fleecemane Lion going to come across here for 3 in the face of a Boros Reckoner. There's a Temple of Abandon. Going to give Jeff the red mana he was looking for, a little scry action as well.
So he's going to keep that card on top of his library. It looks like we're going to see a Voice of Resurgence. One of my favorite cards that I don't get to play very often.
I love Voice. If you want to play it, pick up Larapod, dude. That's what you got to do.
Yeah, I'm probably not going to do that.
Looks like Nykthos is showing up to the party. This is something that Kent has had a lot of success with over the beginning of this year. When we were in Indy the first week of the year, here's a Fnatic. He ended up making like the top 24 with this deck. And then when we went to Columbus, he lost in the finals of the Red Devotion. So he's very, very familiar with these Nykthos strategies. Here comes Hoogland, an attack here for 5.
Good draw for Hoogland. He drew a Goreclan Rampager, which cleared the path for him to attack with both of his creatures, not fearing getting blocked by Fnatic and Mogus.
Yeah, we can't forget about the combo with this deck either. Goreclan Rampager plus Boros Charm.
Yes.
The old big double strike combo.
It's going to be an interesting turn for Kent because if Jeff plays a 4th land here, Kent has to be concerned with, you know, the Fleecemane Lion being monstrous.
Jeff does play his 4th land. It's a Temple of Plenty. He's going to leave the top card on top, see if he's got a follow-up. He does. It's a Dryad Militant. That thing might be on chump blocking duty, or actually try to trade with the Fnatic. But Ketter gets to untap with his Nykthos this turn. We're going to see what he can do as he draws a card.
Oof,
I think it was a Perforos.
1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 5. Looks like he might be able to overload Mizzy Mortars. I'm not sure if he has one in his hand or not.
But he 3 copies in his deck. I don't think he has one in his hand right now, however.
So he has another land in his hand. Yeah, it looks like a Perforos, Stormbreath, Dreadbore.
Yeah, and then the Blood Crypt there. And the thing is, I mean, this is basically a racing matchup. You know, the question here is how aggressive does Kent want to continue to be? Playing Perforos is kind of like taking a turn off, but at the same time, it will be active because of the devotion that's already in play. 3 from the Reckoner, 1 from the Fnatic, and then 1 from Perforos itself. And it looks like he might be serving into the red zone here. Maybe trying to offer up a little trade action?
And I like this play. I like if you just attack for 4 and then you play Perforos this turn. Perforos will be turned on, so you could block with Perforos, and then Stormbreath can come down next turn, dealing 2 from Perforos, dropping Hoogland down to 9, and then attacking in the air.
There's also the ability this turn, assuming the Fnatic gets across, puts Hoogland down to 7, your Nykthos will actually generate mana. You can tap the 2 mountains and Nykthos, generate 4, play Perforos, play the Blood Crypt untapped, and then cast Dreadbore too, if you'd like.
Yeah.
A lot of options here for Kent.
Might want to get rid of that Fleecemane Lion just now.
Militant looks like it wants to trade, and it will. So get that off of the table. Now the Perforos plus Dreadbore plays out the window. Kent's going to go down to 10. Looks like he's going to play a Dragon on defense. And he is, and he's just going to pass the turn back. Okay. So Hoogland's going to untap. He'll take a draw here in just a moment.
So not a bad board there. Really good blockers, a pro white creature and Boros Reckoner. So, ooh, is that
Boros Charm the draw? And he has a Rampager as well. The question is, does he have the other red source? And he does have a Mana Confluence in his hand. So this is getting interesting. I don't know if he's dead immediately or not.
Yeah, Kent's at 10. Yeah, I don't think he's dead. Because if he Goreclan Rampages the Voice of, like, let's assume he attacks with both creatures. Boros Reckoner probably jumps in front of Voice of Resurgence, and Stormbreath probably jumps in front of the Fleecemane Lion. If that's the case, I don't think you have enough to...
Fleecemane become a 7/7 with Rampager. Double Strike makes it a 14 power attacker.
Oh, wait. No.
F6. So, I think it does.
Oh, wow, that is. Yeah, 7. Yeah, 7. Yep, 14.
The question is, does Hoogland see it?
Well, it is... Maybe he's afraid of if a Boros Reckoner jumps in front of the Fleecemane. It still doesn't matter. Same thing.
Yeah, it doesn't change anything.
Yep. So I think As long as he attacks with both creatures, I think he's fine.
Yeah, I think we should be good to go. I think Jeff has come to the same conclusion that we have here. So we're going to the red zone. I think the blocks are getting made are the blocks that we thought would happen. Kent's going to decide here in a moment, but I would assume Reckoner in front of Voice, Dragon in front of Fleecemane. See if that's the block that Kent wants to make as he sits up in his chair and analyzes the board. Going to do some math here. The one thing when you're playing against this deck too is, you know, Brave Naya is kind of a known commodity now because of Brad, so you know about the 1-2 punch with Boros Charm and Rampager. You know that's just a thing they can do. So.
Yep, and that's exactly what we're going to get here.
Yeah, there's a Rampager plus a Boros Charm for double strike. So you got the Rampage, you got the Fleecemane Lance can become a 7/7 double striker, so it's essentially a 14 power attacker. And Ketter says, yep, that's exactly going to kill me. So Jeff Hoogland going to win game number 1 here over his friend Kent Ketter. Brave Naya, a new take on it, of course, does win game number 1 over Red Black Devotion.
Yeah, so it looks there like if Kent just cast the Perforos and the Dreadbore that turn, he's probably in good shape to win, I think.
Yeah, I think so too. No attacks or anything like that, just playing
no
a slower game.
Play a little slower game. You can attack with everything next turn if you want.
Nykthos can generate a lot of mana. You can really do some fun things that turn. Take a look at the sideboards here. I've got Ketters in front of me. He'll be on the play for game number 2. 4 copies of Fire Drake Crusader, 3 Anger of the Gods, 2 copies of Rakdos' Return, 2 Harness by Force, 2 Ultimate Price, an Underworld Cerebus, and a Hammer of Porphyros to go along with the 2 already in his main deck. Decision. I think Anger is probably great in this matchup. Cleans out most of the stuff, right?
Yeah, it kills pretty much every creature in Jeff's deck, except for Gorkland Rampager if he casts it.
You have to be a little wary of Brave the Elements. That's the 4 of in Jeff's main deck, but there's, I mean, if he doesn't have Brave, you just get to really clean him out.
I don't think you can play around that. I think Anger is just too good if you could ever cast it. Plus, you're on the play, so there's a good chance you can just go turn 1 tap out, turn 2 tap out. You can get a 2 for 1 there.
Ultimate Price surprisingly bad in this matchup. If you look at the cards that it kills, it's Soldier of the Pantheon, which is a 3 of, the 1 Keening Apparition, and the 4 copies of Fabled Hero. Outside of that, it's not going to kill, you know, Dried Militant, Fleecemane, Voice Resurgence, or Gorkland Rampager. So I don't think he's going to want any of those. Don't know if he's going to want an additional copy of Hammer of Perforos. I would be surprised if he does. Other than that, I think it's really just mostly Anger of the Gods that comes in. That's pretty much it.
On Jeff's side, he's got some really good options. He's got 1 copy of God's Willing, which is very good against, you know, targeted removal that Kent will have. He's got 2 copies of Johnny's Presence, which basically, you know, same thing. Allow him to not only give his creatures +1/+1, but also give him indestructibility. He's got another copy of Boros Charm, 2 copies of Glare of Heresy. That one's an interesting one just because we saw how problematic a card like Boros Reckoner could be in certain situations, particularly if you're on the draw. So might see the Glare of Heresy come in, but not sure. He has a lot of ways to kind of power through a Boros Reckoner with God's Willing and a Johnny's Presence. So might not see that card come in, but that is an option for him, along with Unflinching Courage, Mizzy, and Mortars. Really, I just see the God's Willing, a Johnny's Presence, maybe Boros Charm coming in, because those are all cards that, 1, can help him continue to attack, but also can save his creatures.
So these 2 decks are kind of fringy. We talked about, you know, kind of the tier 1 and tier 2 decks of the format. We haven't really seen either of these decks put up huge results. Brave Naya losing in the finals in Knoxville to Tyler Wynn playing Red, White, Burn. How do we feel about both of these decks? You like either one very much? Do you think they're okay, well positioned? You know, would you sleeve up either one of these for a tournament?
For me, again, it comes down to if you're not going to play Thoughtseize, you need a good excuse. For Red Black Devotion, I just don't think you have a good excuse. Stormbreath Dragon is the only card that I really like in the deck. Beyond that, I don't really think it's basically a very, very matchup-specific deck, and I don't even think you have that many great matchups. Brave Naya, that's another story. Brave Naya, you're basically saying, okay, I'm not going to play Thoughtseize, but if you are playing Thoughtseize, I'm going to put a lot of pressure on you, so you're going to be under the gun right away. So I can understand playing Brave Naya simply because it can get some very, very aggressive starts, and like we saw, it can win kind of out of nowhere because of Gorkland Rampager and Boros Charm.
Well, both players going to shuffle up here. Looks like Jeff may be taking a mulligan here. Looks like Kent is happy with his opening hand. If you guys are just joining us, Cedric Phillips, Pro Tour champion, Osip Lebedovich, round 3 of 10 here at the StarStateGames.com Open Series in Indianapolis, Indiana. At SCG Live, hashtag SCGINDY for your tweets. You can also send Osip and I a personal one, at Cedric A. Phillips for me, at Osip L for him, if you guys have any questions. And as we do watch these players finish shuffling up for game number 2, don't forget, our Invitational Only 2 weeks away, dude.
And both of these players, I believe, are invitational. I'm not sure about Jeff. I know Kent. Has Kent top 8 in invitational?
Very close. Ninth of the last one.
They both top 8'd several opens, though. Very familiar to that.
A lot of Open Series top 8s. Jeff does have an invitational top 8. Somerset last year.
Okay.
Kent got 9th. He lost his win in at our season 1 invitational in Charlotte.
So.
Oh, Kent apparently calls this Grixis Devotion. I'm going to confirm that it's not Grixis Devotion because he has 1 Temple of Epiphany. Okay, Kent. All right.
So look at this sweet start by Jeff Hoogland here.
He's a little slow out the gate.
A little slow out the gate.
That's okay. A little slower than I thought out of the gate now.
So it looks like he's setting up a big turn 4 with the Fabled Hero. He's going to be able to cast Fabled Hero and hopefully be able to protect it with one of his spells. And yeah, it looks like he's got Boros Charm. He also has a 1-mana protection spell and Brave the Elements.
Well, he's under the gun now. He's going to send Boros Charm upstairs. But 2 Boros Reckoners is really, really hard for Brave Naya to beat, I think.
Well, he's got the hand to do it, though, with the Fabled Hero. It looks like he has a Celestian Charm as well. So he has several ways to target his Fabled Hero.
And Giant Growth, too.
Double Boros Reckoner is tough, yeah.
The thing is, like, Kent's not going to stop attacking either. I mean, Fabled Hero is sweet, and it's actually pretty scary, but...
I don't know. If Kent doesn't have any blockers, I think he might just die to the Fabled Hero, given the number of pump that Jeff has in his hand.
I think Kent's going to he's going to go reaching for the Mortars, which is going to draw out the Brave here.
Yeah, so he draws out the Brave. Fabled Hero gets a heroic counter.
No, it doesn't target. Doesn't target.
Oh, that's right, yeah, it doesn't target. So next turn, he can go Giant Growth, Selesnya Charm. So that's basically 4, 7, 8, 9.
Celestian Charm is going to give Trample, too.
Yeah.
This could get interesting. Kent might actually... Kent might have to put on the brakes.
Well, he can't attack because of the Brave the Elements
still
turned down, so he's going to have to pass.
All right. Jeff takes a draw. It's another Celestian...
So Celestian Charm effectively, because of the heroic, will be +3/+3, plus the Giant Growth is +4. So 10, 12, 22 points of damage. 6, 7, 8. So you can soak up 8 of it. So that's only 14.
Is that really an attack for 22? Okay, so 2/2, Giant Growth gives it +3/+3, plus a counter, so that's 4. So that's +4/+4, so that's 6, that's an attack for 12. And then the charms are each +3/+3?
Yeah, well, +2/+2 plus the heroic.
Plus the counter, yeah.
I think you might just do it, because at the very least, you kill all of Kent's creatures. You're only going to take 6 because of the trample, but you're at 9. Oh, wow. Yeah.
I just do it because I'm on camera. I don't know if that's a good reason to do things, but that's why I do it.
Well, if Kent doesn't block with everything, I think he's dead. Yeah.
Well, unfortunately for Jeff, he does not have enough mana to cast all of those spells, so this is going to get a little awkward. Because he only has 4 mana in play,
this is fairly
and that's 5. So
he forgot to play his land.
So that's not going to work.
So this is one of the more awkward. Oh, maybe is he just showing him what he could have done, or is he actually saying this is what I'm doing?
He can't cast all of those spells, so.
If he plays the land, unfortunately, if he already declared his attackers, then it's kind of awkward.
Yeah.
We should probably let the judge know in case Kent is actually trying to take this damage.
So I think, Jeff is showing all of the cards that he has, but he can't play them all unless he plays a Temple Garden untapped.
So there's no, so it looks like he just showed him. All right. I still had all these.
Yeah, so a bit of a rewind, and that's a bit awkward because now Kent knows every card in his opponent's hand, and Kent is writing them all down.
This is my hand, and this is what I plan on doing to you.
I think it'd be hilarious if his turn is just, all right, your turn. Just has to pass back now.
Yeah, what are you going to do? I mean, he didn't play a land this turn, so he could play the land and do what he wanted to do. I don't understand what the concern is. Because of the trample, he can only take at most, I believe, 6 damage from the...
The issue here for Jeff is that if he wants to do all these things, like if he...
he dies.
Yeah, he dies to the record.
Because of the mana confluence.
Yeah, the Temple Garden will put him down to 7. If you see Kent say, yeah, go ahead. Yeah, so he's going to go down to 7, will Jeff. And then the mana confluence would actually deal him 1, put him down to 6. And then what happens because of double strike is he has to deal lethal damage to each of the creatures. He'll deal damage to the Reckoners. They'll each take 3. and then he'll die from the Reckoner activations. Kent is very boisterous now that I think he realizes this.
Yeah, so it looks like Jeff isn't going to be able to do enough. He's going to have to play the land. Now what does Kent do here? Yeah, because Jeff can still... Yeah, Kent's going to have to block.
Yeah, he still has to do some blocking. That's not going to change.
But he has to make sure that he can block with just enough where he doesn't die. I think if he just... Yeah. If he knows exactly what's in Jeff's hand. So Jeff can cast Celestial Charm. Okay, so we're going to have double Boros Reckoner blocking the Fabled Hero here.
Yeah, I mean, as long as he doesn't die, he's fine. I think this is your best block.
So will Fabled Hero survive this one? You're gonna get you can get Celestial Charm. How's he gonna redirect the damage? Yeah, because he's basically gonna be dead. Yeah, he's dead from the attack from the Fanatic Amogus. So he has to keep one of the Celestial Charms in order to make a 2/2 blocker. Yeah, so I think you probably just cast Giant Growth here.
I think you Giant Growth, your guy becomes a 6/6.
Just to deal with both the Reckoners. Kent likely redirects the damage to Jeff, dropping him to 1. Then he can cast a Celestial Charm to make a 2/2 Knight in order to block the Fanatic.
Okay.
It's not ideal because you'll be at 1, but at least you're not dead.
Well, there's your Giant Growth. Gotta figure out how he wants to tap the man. He's gonna use the Stomping Ground. So trigger for Heroic becomes a 3/3. Giant Growth resolves, becomes a 6/6 double striker.
Oh yeah, so he actually has first strike damage. So
yeah.
I think his guy will still survive too. So right now it's basically 7 points of first strike damage on the stack, or no, I'm sorry.
6 points.
6 points. So he kills both those. And now what does Kent want to do? Does he want to try to go after Jeff? If Jeff didn't show him the Selesnya Charm, he might have gone after Jeff.
Yeah, yeah. The thing is, even if he goes out, and he's just going to go upstairs and put him down to 1.
Yeah, if he tries to go after Fabled Hero, then he can Selesnya Charm it.
Yeah.
Because he knows he's not going to be at 1. So, yeah, Kent decides to just throw everything at Jeff. He goes to 1. And now, you know, Jeff still has that 3/3 Fabled Hero in play. Along with 2 Selesnya Charms.
Obviously. I was gonna say Kent's just gonna draw a dragon and kill him because Kent always draws a dragon and kills his opponent.
Yeah, if I was
that's just what he did.
if I was Kent, I would never not play Stormbred Dragon if I was Kent Ketter.
Kent always draws the dragon to kill his opponent. It's unbelievable. It's like clockwork as he does tie up the match here between him and Hoogland 1-1. It's a lock of the century, also.
The lock of the century. Well, again, I think Jeff's probably still okay with how that game played out. I think he's still confident in this match just because he had a really slow start. He didn't get a play. He didn't make a play until turn 4, and he still could have almost won if his mana was a little bit better. So,
yeah.
If that mana confluence was a Temple of Plenty, suddenly this game is completely different. So Jeff is going to be on the play now. So I still like Jeff's chances in this match. Just because I don't think Kent has a lot, unless he gets like a timely Anger of the Gods. I think Jeff's deck is just too tricky. It can be too aggressive and has too many tricks.
That game was very strange because Jeff's first play was on turn 4 on the draw, and he could have I think that he wins that game if he doesn't just like drop all that stuff on the table. Or at least it's different, right?
It's like Storm Breath, obviously. Like you definitely don't throw your hand on the table and show your opponent. But Storm Breath off the top probably still wins it for Kent. Because I think Kent, well, not necessarily. It depends on how Kent. If Jeff plays it like this is just a desperation attack, let's see what you block with. Maybe, but I think Kent's always going to block with double Boros Reckoner. I just don't see him doing it.
You're probably right. Especially because he knows there's the combination of cards that he can kill you with that turn are pretty high that you just you probably just shove a bunch of your stuff in there. I don't think that you're gonna go like, oh, I'll block with my Fanatic or whatever. You know?
Well, it's a tough spot for Jeff because if he plays his land untapped, he's basically telegraphing that he's going to do something.
Sure.
And if he plays his land tapped, then he really can't make the lethal play anyway. So not really sure that Kent had a lot of options, or Jeff had a lot of options in that game. But again, I just think again it goes to show you how crazy his deck is because, again, no play until turn 4, but Fabled Hero in this particular deck, given the amount of spells he has, can be enough for him to just win on its own.
Yeah, what I actually just realized watching that game more than anything is that Fabled Hero is pretty sweet.
Yeah.
That's actually the conclusion that I drew from that game. Is
Fabled Hero, Rampager. Not too bad.
Yeah, that card's actually really, really good in this deck.
Yeah, like if one of those Selesnya Charms is a Rampager, this game's over.
And Jeff is going to mulligan here. You already saw he was looking at his first 6 cards, didn't find land, so he's going to send it back. Ketter looks like he's happy with his hand, as we are tied up here 1-1 in round number 3. The Stormbreath Dragon Aficionado on their left, pretty happy, as it did save the day of that game.
And he's going to need some help in this game. I think being on the draw really just doesn't have a lot of ways to interact with Jeff's decks in turn 2. He's got, you know, those Mizium Mortars, but that's really, he doesn't have that many great ways to interact with Jeff's deck.
Yeah, not really. A couple copies of Dreadbore, some Mortars, that's it.
Yeah, I think that it's really going to come down to whether or not he can kill Jeff's for early creatures, and then can he get a Boros Reckoner? Stormbreath Dragon's obviously the way that this deck is going to win.
Yeah, pretty much.
I mean, it's not going to really come down to anything beyond that. But, yeah, we'll see how it goes.
So you see Ketter, he's happy, number 13 on our Open Series leaderboard for Season 2. More importantly, if you guys follow the overall standings for our leaderboard, for the end of the year invites, you know, the top 8 at-large bids, Kent is really in play for that one. Very unrealistic for him to qualify in Season 2 outside of spiking the Invitational that takes place in 2 weeks in Columbus, Ohio. I think the same thing can be said for Jeff here in this match as well. But I mean, more importantly for these tournaments and for these gentlemen, you know, it's all about just getting those Open Series points and accumulating them for the end of the year race, where again, Ketter is in very, very good position to be qualifying for the Players' Championship that way. But of course, another top 8 here for Kent, and eventually a win wouldn't hurt for him. We've seen him make the finals of 2 Open Series. We've also seen him lose in the finals of a PTQ. He lost in the finals of the Star City Games State Championships. He can't seem to close, but we'll see if he can close this match out, as he's going to start off with the Temple of Malice. You saw Hoogland start off with the Temple of Plenty. Hoogland now with a Mana Confluence, going to follow that up with a Fleece Mane Lion. Ketter, he's got a 2-mana spell of his own. It's a Frostburn Weird, passes the turn back. Some people have actually removed this card from the deck, trying out Morgus's Warhound. I know Jerry T was giving that a try. Let's see what Hoogland's going to do here. Just a sack for 3. Ketter not going to block because there's so many pump spells in the deck. Blocking against this deck is basically a fool's errand.
Yeah, so Frostburn Weird, one of the ways that he can, one of his early plays that could technically interact with Naya, but really doesn't do much.
Yeah, does not get the opportunity to block.
Helps him fuel his devotion, basically. That's it.
Uh-oh. We got a Brain Tree Emissary. We got a Nykthos activation. That's a Fanatic of Mogus for 2, 4, 5. Get in there with that as well. And this is what makes the Devotion deck so scary.
So it looks like Jeff did board. Oh, no. Did he board in a Glare Heresy? Or that's, it looks like in a Johnny's. Yeah, it looks like a Johnny's Presence. And there is a Glare Heresy. So it looks like he did bring in Glare Heresy. Maybe as after losing to double Boros Reckoner.
Yeah, I mean, we had a feeling it might come in. The big issue here is that this is a Nykthos fuel draw.
Yeah. Once you get these Nykthos draws, it's really hard to kind of beat. That's kind of the appeal of these Devotion decks. You can get these ridiculous Nykthos decks and just start breaking the rules of Magic.
The funny thing too is whenever you look at a new set like Journey, or you know the new sets that are going to be coming out along with the new base set M15, you're always looking at those mana symbols.
Yeah.
What can they provide?
How much damage can I do with Nykthos?
Oh boy, here's another Nykthos. There's 4 mana, actually 5, excuse me.
So he has technically 8 mana right now that he can use.
Oh, aren't we just having a ball ultimate price in the grip as well right now?
He's another Fanatic.
Yeah, that's for 6.
Wow.
Look at Ketter go.
So you can drop Jeff down to 7, I believe, and here's Mizium Mortars probably get answered by a Johnny's Presence.
Yep, that'll work on the Lion.
Yeah, Jeff just doesn't have he's drawing a lot of lands with this deck. He only has 22 lands, and not really getting the type of draws he was getting in the first game.
Yeah, not the best mulligan here. And also with Glare of Heresy in his hand, it's basically a double mulligan.
Yeah.
At this point.
I can't fault him for bringing the Glare. I mean, obviously, Boros Reckoner can be very problematic for this deck, but the only reason I thought he might not bring it in is because of the sheer volume of tricks that he has around to get around the Boros Reckoner. even Johnny's presence. I mean, you don't need more than that to really get through a Boros Reckoner, to get one of your creatures through.
So Mortars does get countered by the new Strive card there. +1/+1 and indestructible on the Fleeceman Lion. See if Ketter wants to do any sort of attacking here. He could keep pushing his advantage in the red zone. And you see Ketter's doing math right now, trying to figure out, okay, is there a way that I can die on the attack back, especially when I have Fnatic back on defense? And he's going to play very, very conservatively, and I think just pass the turn back.
Yeah, well, if Jeff doesn't have another creature on his turn, he can just attack with everything. Ken can just attack and everything next turn and present lethal. So really no reason to attack now and just throw away one of your creatures just for 2 damage or 1 damage.
And it looks like that's what he's going to do. Yeah, he just does pass the turn back. He does have Ultimate Price in his hand. Not the best in this matchup, of course, but we'll see if anything does become of that. Mizzing Mortars to draw here for Hoogland. He's going to play a Temple of Plenty. Take a look at the top card. Maybe he can work his way towards overloading that as he leaves a card on top.
Yeah, let's see here. If he plays the Rampager now.
He's just going to cast the Mortars.
I was going to say, if he wants to try to go for that plan, he's going to have to play another blocker. But, yeah, it looks like he's just going to pass here.
Ketter going to take a draw. It, for once, does not look to be a Stormbreath Dragon.
Yeah, so if he just goes for yeah, so if he just attacks with everything here, goes to 1, loses his Fleeceman.
And there's the land, pass the turn back. Ultimate Price not at its best in this particular matchup. You see Ketter pointing at it saying, this doesn't really do anything, and Hoogland didn't draw his card and concede the game. So Ken Ketter's going to win this match 2-1. Red-Black Devotion in the hands of the Stormbreath Dragon Master going to get the job done over Jeff Hoogland playing this new updated build of Brave Naya. So congratulations to Ken Ketter, number 13 on our Season 2 leaderboard. Both players do shake hands as they are good friends, as I mentioned right at the top. And Ketter moves on to 3-0.
Red-Black Devotion.
Yeah, the Black Splash minor. Dreadbore, 3 of those. I'm taking a look at the sideboard here. There's 2 copies of Ultimate Price. There's Underworld Cerebus. That's it. I mean, it's not a big splash. You know, it's facilitated by 4 Blood Crypts, 4 Temple of Malice, and
it's
2 copies of Mana Confluence.
It's really Temple of Malice is the splash.
Yeah, yeah. The Scryland is what's helping here. You know, of course, we've seen Ken play versions with white before for Chain to the Rocks and some other white cards you can splash that way. But people are giving this black splash a try. Jerry Thompson's been advocating this for a little while just because of the power of Dreadbore and some of the sideboard options that you do have available. But either way, at the end of the day, this is a Nykthos deck.
Yeah.
We've seen this deck before. It seems like forever ago, but we've seen this strategy before, and apparently we're going to see it again because it's cropping up here. So
yeah, a little more resilient against control decks than Mono Green because of Hammer Purpose.
Yeah,